Hey everyone, how are you guys doing? In today's video, I'll be talking about the hate that BLACKPINK's Jennie constantly receives. I'm gonna do the same thing as I did in the soy on hate video. I'll point out the reasons why she gets hate and break it down to show everyone how it doesn't make any sense.
인터넷 접속하면 가장 뭘 해?
인터넷 잘 안 해.
하루에 제니 이름 몇 번 검색해?
빵 번.
First of all, it's important to note that the more famous someone is, the more likely they are to get hate even if they don't do anything wrong. Jennie is a member of one of the most famous girl groups currently, therefore, she will be targeted by this nonsensical hate. In this video, I'll explain why these attacks tend to strike her more than the others.
Everything was up to you. Like, even if you're 10, you still got to make your own decisions. That was very important for me to have at a young age. That built me as who I am right now.
The very first thing would probably be Jennie's RBF. For those who don't know, RBF stands for resting bitch face, which is a facial expression that unintentionally creates the impression that someone is angry or annoyed, when in fact the individual is just with their facial muscles relaxed. When BLACKPINK used to attend awards shows, Jennie's reactions would go viral because she always seemed to be annoyed or bored while watching others' performances. People would often point out how the other members seemed to be hyped while she seemed to be angry. This obviously made people hate her because she wasn't matching the energy. This got out of the awards bubble and went to other parts of her life, such as events that she would go to, concerts, and even her daily life. People would take pictures of her out of context and assume that she was downgrading something, someone, or even an event, when in fact she was just chilling. Well, this is very foolish to hate her for. RBF is a scientific phenomenon and not something you can control. It is related to facial muscles, gender stereotypes, cognitive function, and shocking, it even has psychological implications. This may seem like a stretch, but I am pretty sure everyone is aware of how awful the K-pop industry is. It would not be crazy to assume that Jennie's RBF is directly related to her own problems. This is something really easy to notice, especially because Jennie would behave like that even when she was in the company of someone she loves, or watching someone she likes such as Irene from Red Velvet or Mion from Idol. Oh, and the double standards go in here as well. Why is a man attractive when they act in this way, but a woman is a bitch? Well, yes. Jennie could hate being somewhere or hate having to watch other groups' performances, but this is something that only she would know. Anything else would be an assumption. The second reason is an alleged change in her attitude after the release of her solo. As she was the first one to have her solo released, she was taken as the company's favorite, which is not true. Even though we have no confirmation of it, Jennie most likely got the first solo because she was the most prepared to handle it, as she had the longest training period, exceeded in most things, and was able to promote well since she speaks English. Jennie also blew up in Korea after D4 was released, which basically made her become an IT girl. YG isn't stupid, they wouldn't let it slip, and they took advantage of it. Yes, it could be because she was the first one to join YG, or because YG always makes the main rappers get their solo first, but it's a company, and they need money. The logical choice would be to pick the one that would profit them the most. After that, people started pointing out how Jennie was treated better than the other members, which, well, it's true. She would get better clothes, more promotions, etc., not because they like her better, but because this would create a buzz around her name, which would give them more money because her name is directly associated with BLACKPINK. Every type of attention on the internet is good. It doesn't matter if it's harmful or not. The change in her attitude that I briefly mentioned before refers to the fact that after her solo was released, she started to care less and less about group activities and focused and put more effort into her solo schedules. This is something that Jennie isn't in control at all. The hate that she gets from this should be targeted at YG, not her. Despite being extremely famous, Jennie doesn't move a finger on her own. She still is under a company that tries to get the most out of everyone they have. This popularity thing is super common. The most famous members are always pushed forward in order to get more attention and recognition. It's an endless cycle of money and fame where they promote the most famous member and get attention. Fans complain about not promoting other members and also get buzz. At the end of the day, the company will always get the money. The only way they'll profit less is if they promote or give the spotlight to the less popular members. Before finishing this part, I would like to talk once more about the better styling that she gets. While researching for this video, I stumbled upon an article that said that the members actually acknowledge the situation but don't care for it, because Jennie kinda leads the group's fashion sense. The article also stated that Jennie said that she is more picky about her outfits, so she gives stylists a harder time. The interview was apparently taken down, so in order to be fair, I won't use it as a source. That being said, it's important to consider that idols can speak about what they want to do, wear, say, etc. But it's obvious that it won't always be respected or listened to because the company controls them. The third reason is Jennie's dating history and alleged relationships. Jennie was the first BLACKPINK member to have a public relationship with another idol. If idols dating anonymous people already make some fans go insane, imagine dating an idol. Jennie dated Kai from EXO in 2018 for a couple couple of months. They broke up very quickly, and there are speculations that they had to end the relationship because of the massive hate and backlash they received. There were rumors of her dating other celebrities as well, and the most recent and recurrent one is V from BTS. The hate that Jennie gets from allegedly dating V is immense. She gets death threats, awful wishes, and disgusting comments, literally every day. If you scroll down her comments on Instagram, you're gonna find tons of comments calling her a slut, a pig, and many more awful things. I don't even have to explain that this is not Jennie's or V's fault, right? This conduct is a psychological occurrence called parasocial relationship, which is a kind of psychological relationship experienced by certain audiences in their media encounters. This happens due to repeated exposure that garners interest in a persona created by the media. Repeated exposure to the media persona causes the audience to develop illusions of intimacy, friendship, and identification. Information learned about their persona results in increased attraction among other things, which causes the audience to believe they somehow own the celebrity. The K-pop industry feeds these parasocial relationships, and just like I previously said, they don't care for it because it makes them get more money and attention. Taehyung is not your boyfriend, and he won't ever be. He is a 27-year-old man who has definitely had relationships, gone to clubs, and has done everything a healthy adult does. Whether they are dating or not is not our business. And it won't be a jealous kid or a covetous weirdo who hasn't touched grass in years that will stop them. If you for a moment think that Jennie or V would approve of this bullying behavior, then you are not a fan at all. I talk specifically about V here because he's the most recent one, but it goes for all the alleged relationships and actual relationships she has had. You could use the excuse that there are lots of kids on these fandoms, but this would explain just a third of the situation, as you can clearly see that a lot of these comments come from grown-up people. There's also something called human nature. People are petty and envy others. Therefore, I assure you that a great part of these people are just super jealous because they won't ever be able to date their favorite idol, or any idol for that matter. The fourth reason is related to Jennie's outfits. People hate Jennie because of the so-called controversial and provocative outfits she uses. Jennie is constantly slut-shamed and has been subjected to derogatory labels regarding her clothing choices and perceived sexuality on a daily basis. This has been intensified lately as she not only became an ambassador for brands such as Calvin Klein, but also her stylist seems to have leaned towards a new and better styling. People complain about her clothes being very short, claiming that she needs to expose her body in order to compensate for the lack of talent. Every time she poses for Calvin Klein, an insane wave of hateful comments shaming her body arises, and that's crazy because Calvin Klein is an underwear brand. How the hell is she supposed to pose for it? Why do you think she is called a model? A model is a person with a role either to promote, display, or advertise commercial products, and that's what she's doing. If you are looking at her posing with a bad perspective, the problem is in you for sexualizing every single thing women do. Now onto the actual thing. Jennie was hated for some allegedly revealing outfits she wore during BLACKPINK's world tour. She was also hated for the clothing she wore in the HBO series The Idol with The Weeknd and Lily Rose Depp. I really don't want to sound rude, but this is her body and her choice, and it doesn't matter if it goes against what you like, want, believe, or whatever. Your beliefs are yours, not hers. She doesn't have to match the expectations created by you. If you don't like short clothes, fine, don't wear it. But don't tell other people what to do with their body. It's not an act of care. It's just a way for fans to fool themselves into believing they are acting correctly when they are actually being inconvenient. And don't even come up with the excuse that there are many kids in the fandom and they shouldn't have to see this kind of clothing because kids shouldn't be on the internet in the first place. Plus, if you are teaching a kid that short clothes are the problem, then you are the problem. Once again, there is a high possibility that she picks her own clothes for concerts, so she probably chooses the one that will make her comfortable enough to perform a show for many hours. Very important to mention that the double standards come in here as well. Why is a man hot and sexy when he takes off his clothes on stage or when he's advertising underwear, but a woman posing or wearing a skirt and a top is a slut? The fifth reason is relatively similar to the previous one, Jennie's controversial attitudes. Jennie has been embroiled in thousands of alleged polemic situations, such as going to parties and clubs, getting drunk, twerking, and even mistreating fans. The part about her mistreating fans will be presented in the next topic. For now, I'll only speak about the other things I mentioned. There were tons of malicious comments regarding her participation in the HBO series The Idol, especially because the series contains excessive sensationalism, misogynistic depictions, and male-oriented sexual fantasies. Despite having only a few scenes, it was enough to make everyone hate her. After all, how does a woman as influential as Jennie agree to participate in a series like that? While I agree that the series sucks, it seems like Jennie wasn't 100% aware of the direction the series would take. She revealed that she is a fan of Sam Levinson's work, which took place as director after the previous director Amy Seimetz left. According to The Weeknd, he wanted this change in the direction because he felt like the series was having too much of a feminine perspective. By then, the series was 80% finished. Sam took the direction and The Weeknd co-directed it. Based on all this, it seems like The Weeknd presented her with the idea of the previous director and altered it after Jennie accepted the role. Yes, there's the possibility that she knew about everything and still wanted to do it. Well, not that it takes away the fact that the show is awful in every single way, but this was her first opportunity as an actress, and she took it. It wasn't the best of the roles, nor the best series, but it was an opportunity. community. Regarding the other things, I kinda already talked about them, but Jennie is a grown-up woman. She's going to do everything an adult would. What is wrong with drinking, going to parties and clubs, dancing or twerking? Exactly nothing. If you don't like this type of thing, that's on you. She doesn't have to stop having fun or living her life because of your faith and beliefs. Stop projecting. Now on to the sixth reason, and probably why you clicked on this video, Jennie's lazy performances and bad attitude towards her idol life. Jennie is hated for the way she performs on stage, especially in concerts. People comment on how lazy she acts in most of her performances and say that she clearly seems to be bored and wishes to finish the show ASAP. They say that it seems like she's doing it because she has to, not because she wants to. There are also mentions of how she chooses when to perform with energy, and it's always when the venue is bigger or when there are friends of hers or celebrities watching her. All of these claims are undeniably true. Yes, it's also true that Jennie has a lot of problems and suffers from some conditions, as she has already talked about before.
I would constantly hurt myself during performances and lives compared to other girls, and it was just a stressful thing in my life. I'm like, there we go. I fell again. Like I tripped over again. And I feel like I've disappointed my fans at some point of my life where it seemed like I wasn't giving my best. But I haven't had the moment to say this, but I want to say that I did not know how to control my body and like use my body the way I should. I'm still at a point where I'm learning about myself, if anything, so.
However, this does not explain everything, as it has been going on for too long. It is totally understandable to stop a show because you are sick or in pain or even have less energy sometimes, but this has happened many times. People compare her performances to the ones in the past and they see that she was much better. Don't get me wrong, I know that there are a lot of conditions that may help one act like that. However, there's no sugarcoating in this one. Jennie is an amazing performer, but this has happened too many times, to the point where even fans were sad and thought that she mistreated them because of the way she performed. Okay, so let's break this down into the possible reasons why she would behave like that. Most idols, when first debut, give their best because they want to give a really good impression to the public, plus the pressure from the company is way bigger.
Even though I had the training days, that was more about I need to be good at dancing, not how do I keep myself safe and healthy while I'm, doing this.
Jennie was already a superstar, but consolidated herself after her solo in 2018. Therefore, there is the possibility that she knows that she could just perform in any way, and people would still love her. I don't believe in this, but it still is a possibility. There's also a chance that it's purely psychological. If you noticed, I said that Jennie kinda chooses when to perform well. If the venue is bigger, that usually means that the hype is bigger, which constructs more love and support for Jennie. If there are friends of hers in the crowd, she must feel loved, which makes her feel more relieved. And so it goes. When doing other things such as acting or posing, she doesn't feel the pressure of the K-pop life, though she does it somewhat better. Another possibility is the loss of drive. For those who don't know, drive is what gives someone energy and determination to do something. It is different from motivation, as motivation is something that gives you a boost of energy for a short amount of time, while drive is innate. If you have a hard time understanding what drive is, just think of Soyeon from Idol or Sakura from Lee Seraphim. Anyways, the loss of drive is caused by the break of expectations or a change in someone's mindset. Jennie probably pictured a different life as an idol, and now that she's a big one, she lost interest in it. This is what I personally think happens because it explains why she gives it all when she's doing another gig, such as modeling, acting, or even just performing in front of her friends and celebrities. It's a new thrill. That's why she has to go all out. It can also be a combination of minor factors such as health conditions, mental health, tiredness, the environment, diseases, and more. Based on what she has told the media, it seems that she is naturally weak, so we could assume that she has some sort of chronic illness or fatigue, and that would explain the balance issues, clumsiness, and ease with which she seems to hurt herself. I believe this can also be true, as it is unquestionable that she appears to be very weak health-wise. These last two reasons are the most reasonable ones, and while we won't probably ever have a confirmation on either, it's obvious that YG doesn't explain Jennie's health situation for clout and attention. I said it 10 times in this video already, but every type of attention is good for a company, especially in this case because fans will come to defend her blindly, which generates more buzz and popularity. I just wanted to mention that these 6 points are the major reasons why Jennie is hated, but there are a couple of things that I left aside, such as pressure, ingrained judgment, and personality, because it goes in the same way for each idol. In conclusion, the Jennie hate train is fundamentally unfounded and utterly disgusting. If you have the nerve to wish death upon someone, there's something really wrong with you. Thank you for watching. I tried to make this video as clear and unbiased as possible, even though Jennie is my bias in BLACKPINK. I hope you liked this video, and if you did, please consider leaving a like, a comment, and maybe even subscribing. Bye-bye.